All right, today we're diving into an absolute giant of American literature. F. Scott Fitzgerald's masterpiece, The Great Gatsby. We're going to travel back in time to the wild, glittering summer of 1922, the heart of the Jazz Age. It's an era of spectacular parties and even bigger ambitions, and we're about to see how one man's pursuit of a dream became a truly American tragedy. So, at the very center of this story is a huge mystery. A man named J. Gatsby throws the most incredible, lavish parties you can possibly imagine. But here's the thing, nobody, and I mean nobody, really knows who he is. Where did he come from? How did he get all this money? So that's the question we're going to tackle. Who was the real J. Gatsby?
So, our guide through this glittering, chaotic world is our narrator, a guy named Nick Carraway. He's a pretty normal fella from the Midwest who's come to New York to make his fortune in the bond business. He ends up renting this tiny little house, and by a complete stroke of luck, his next-door neighbor turns out to be the man himself, the mysterious Mr. Gatsby.
Now, to get this story, you have to understand the setting. It's basically a tale of two eggs. Nick and Gatsby live in West Egg. That's new money central. Think flashy, gaudy, maybe a little tacky. It's where the newly rich show off. Then, right across the bay, you've got East Egg. That's old money, the established, aristocratic families who inherited their wealth and their status. And trust me, they look down on the West Egg crowd. This isn't just about geography. It's a full-blown culture war.
And living in that fancy old money world of East Egg is Nick's cousin, Daisy Buchanan, and her husband Tom. These two are the poster children for inherited privilege. Tom is this powerful, brutish guy who's cheating on his wife and doesn't really hide it. And Daisy, well, she's beautiful and charming, but you get this feeling that she's trapped in a life that's as golden as it is empty.
So, that brings us back to Gatsby. Why all the insane parties? Why the colossal mansion? You start to realize it's not about the parties at all. The entire thing, all of it, is for one person. It's about a dream he's been chasing across the water for 5 very long years.
To really get Gatsby, you've got to rewind 5 years. Back then, he was a young military officer with no money to his name, and he fell completely in love with Daisy. But the war pulled them apart. He went overseas, and Daisy, well, she wasn't willing to wait. She married the incredibly rich Tom Buchanan. For most people, that would be it, but not for Gatsby. He dedicates his entire life to one single, all-consuming goal: get rich enough to win her back. And this is where we get one of the most famous symbols in all of literature. Every night, Gatsby stands on his lawn and just stares across the dark water at a single, tiny green light at the end of a dock. That light becomes everything he wants. It's his dream, it's his hope for the future, it's the perfect past that he's desperate to get back. Because let's be blunt, for Gatsby, the green light is Daisy. She's the living, breathing embodiment of his dream. She's right there, so close he can see her house, but she's forever just out of reach, across that stretch of water. Okay, next up, recreating the past. So Gatsby's whole grand plan kicks into gear. He uses Nick to arrange a reunion with Daisy. And after a very, very awkward beginning, the old spark is definitely there. Their romance is rekindled, and Gatsby is absolutely convinced he can just wipe the slate clean, erase the last 5 years, and Daisy will leave Tom for him. And this is where we see Gatsby's fatal flaw. Nick says it perfectly. He wanted to repeat the past. Think about how huge that is. He doesn't just want a future with Daisy. He wants to literally delete her marriage to Tom, delete her child, and pick up right where they left off 5 years ago. It's this beautiful, impossible, and really tragic illusion. But you can't repeat the past, right? So now we come to the part of the story where everything falls apart. The dream shatters. On one horribly hot summer afternoon, Gatsby's perfectly built fantasy world finally smashes into reality, and the result is an absolute catastrophe.
The whole group ends up in a suffocating suite at the Plaza Hotel, and the tension just boils over. Tom Buchanan has had enough, and he goes on the attack. He exposes Gatsby's money for what it is, dirty money from illegal bootlegging. He just viciously tears down Gatsby's whole romantic image, and you can literally see Daisy's courage just crumble. She retreats right back to the safety and security of Tom's old money.
The drive home from the city is pure chaos. A completely distraught Daisy is driving Gatsby's car. All of a sudden, Tom's mistress, Myrtle, runs into the street. She thinks Tom is in the car.
Daisy hits her. She kills her instantly. And in one last, desperate act of devotion, Gatsby tells Nick he'll take the blame. He's going to protect Daisy no matter what.
And what follows is the final, tragic end. Gatsby is now totally alone. He's been abandoned by the woman he just sacrificed everything for, and he's just sitting in his mansion, waiting for a phone call from her that is never going to come. His dream hasn't just been broken, it's been completely destroyed. All that's left is the fallout.
Then Tom Buchanan delivers the final cruel blow. He tells Myrtle's grieving husband, George, that Gatsby was the one driving the car. And George, completely out of his mind with rage, tracks Gatsby down, finds him floating in his pool, shoots him dead, and then kills himself. Just like that, Gatsby dies alone, his dream reduced to nothing. And if you want the ultimate proof of how hollow Gatsby's world was, this is it. What about the hundreds of people who partied at his house all summer? The ones who drank his booze and ate his food? They vanished. Almost nobody comes to his funeral. It's a brutal reveal of the deep loneliness that was hiding behind all that glamour.
So what does it all mean? Well, Gatsby's personal story is really about these much bigger ideas. It's a critique of the American dream and how it gets corrupted by the chase for wealth. It's about the rigid, cruel lines between social classes, the emptiness of materialism, and of course the absolute futility of trying to recapture the past. It's a story about the danger of loving an illusion more than a real person.
Which really leaves us with one last haunting question to chew on. Gatsby built his entire life, every single thing he did, on an illusion, a dream of a person who just didn't exist anymore. So in the end, what is the real cost of dedicating your life to something that isn't real?
The novel closes with this absolutely iconic line. Gatsby believed in that green light, in this perfect future he could just reach out and grab. But the book suggests that maybe his struggle is all of our struggles, a reminder that we are all, in our own ways, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.